Yeah.
Shut up.
That's a great intro to the fucking episode.
Yeah. No.
Carl's chair looks like a nose. Alex has to shut up. And in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only Warren tonight. There is only
I'm just
Warhammer.
going to talk over you talking.
Welcome to the Tainted Hive, Season 2, Children of Rokarth, our playthrough of the Warhammer 40k Imperium Maledictum game system by Cubicle 7, brought to you by PrimetimeMagic.com.
Did you say something, Brad?
I like that. Did I say something? I did not say something. I did
you
say PrimetimeMagic.com.
Oh.
The gentlemen over at Primetime Magic have been so generous as to sponsor this entire season of the Tainted Hive. Please go over there, check out their website. They have all kinds of magic singles. You, too, can adopt a young Mordecai or Dmitry to prevent them from spending their entire life savings on magic cards.
Where was that at?
PrimetimeMagic.com. I can't sing, and I apologize to everyone in advance for that. On that note, we are back here with Alex, Justin, Mike, and Carl playing the Tainted Hive Season 2 Children of Rokarth. Gentlemen, happy Warhammer night, and here we go. Last time on the Tainted Hive. I really wish I could, drop my voice 4 octaves for that.
The party did crack. I mean, crack rockets.
We had crack forced upon us.
You went from...
So we didn't really have a choice.
I would argue they're missiles, but...
Just immediately pop up with Dave Chappelle's character scratching his neck as crack missiles are flying in.
Can I get some crack grenades?
You got those good crack missiles? So, as you guys found yourselves crash landed in the Unsea outside of Vol, that acidic kind of sea to the southwest of the Hive, you could see the Hive off through the raining horizon. You noticed that after an entire long deliberation of should you stay or should you go, you found that you needed to make a decision. And as you did so, as you finally made that decision and got ready to move off into the world, tracking towards the tardigrade fields that you had found from the pilot were kind of north and west of your position, two different missiles hit. You had been speaking with a group of individuals who were on these stilts, walking through the muck. One of them exploded in front of you into a splash of steel and gore and just viscera. Simultaneously, a crack missile struck the actual ship that had crash landed, your shuttle. Now, as that happened, Roderick, you had been taking cover behind the shuttle, and thankfully you got out of the way in time to not get engulfed in this small but powerful explosion. Mordecai managed to follow the rocket trails using his years of experience hunting through the feral jungles with that thick, steaming atmosphere, and managed to immediately, with a single round, take down, to the best of your knowledge anyway, you saw him drop the individual carrying one of, if not the only, rocket launcher.
I think Mike's exact words were, he died like shit.
I think that was exact words, yeah. As Mordecai, as you took that shot, Dmitry, you flanked right, using suppressing fire as the whole party kind of circled around the lander.
Dmitry did.
Yeah, Dmitry did. Mordecai, as you killed the guy, Dmitry... Oh, did I say Mike?
I think you said Mordecai.
Mordecai, as you killed the gentleman who had fired the rocket, Dmitry flanked right along with the rest of the party, laying down suppressing fire and getting sights on the enemy. Now, through the skein of mist and rain, you saw 5 or 6 shadows. You couldn't quite put your finger on it. However, over the course of the next 2 minutes, you managed to push up with
Mike,
a flavor.
you're muted.
Yeah, if you said something, Mike, you're muted.
I said, so I started blasting.
So you started blasting. You mag dumped, you pushed up, and between you, Roderick, and Osiris, you got very close. And last we left off, Dmitry, you had elected to target the center of the group of 3 remaining individuals who you found were in faded, old, worn Astra Militarum uniforms. And you had kind of walked the trigger of your flamer, igniting all 3 of them. One of them died outright. The other 2 are currently ablaze and on fire in the rain. It's a beautiful thing.
Real quick with the recap.
Yeah.
Where did Osiris shoot shoot the guy he was aiming?
So Osiris also shot between Osiris and Roderick.
You're a real one, Mike.
They did manage to shoot someone, and I believe Osiris blasted his dick off to make him a Kendo.
Okay.
So
Just wanted to make sure my notes were accurate. Thank you.
my notes are noseless,
Yep.
headless,
Yep.
dickless,
Basically correct.
and now there's one that's melted. So
One is melted, and
Pretty
two others
good.
are on fire.
Ablaze.
Now,
Yes.
according to my notes, and guys, correct me if you have different, but according to my notes, we actually left off at right after you, Dmitry. So top of the round.
Huh,
Yeah.
It says right here in my notes, Brad owes us EXP.
You got to survive
My
today.
notes say that every week, but it never happens.
I told you guys last session you are due for EXP, so whoever survives today will win the Golden Chalice.
Yes.
Oh, so it's
What's-
Hunger Games. Got it.
Absolutely
What's
right.
EXP?
On that note,
extra experience.
On
On that note,
we are at the top of the initiative order. So with an 8, it would be Roderick. But before Roderick, so to set the scene again, Osiris and Roderick, you are one zone away from Dmitry, who is pressed up to be just outside of the 3 individuals who are now on fire. All of you see the people on fire. It has created a very visual beacon through this tan and green, murky, sloppy water with a thin rain. The thunder is still cracking about every minute and a half. So you've only heard about 2 peals of thunder so far through this combat. You have not seen lightning striking per se. As Dmitry is about a zone in front of you, Mordecai, you had also been circling around, and you are a zone behind both Osiris and Roderick. So, Dmitry is in what we will call Zone 2 at this point, because we know there are people beyond him. That'll be Zone 1. Dmitry is then in Zone 2. Roderick and Osiris in Zone 3. Mordecai in Zone 4. Mordecai, you are in the cover of a tree. Roderick and Osiris, I don't believe either of you, I don't have notes on either of you being in cover, so if that's incorrect, correct me now.
Well, I was in cover, but my cover got blown up, so I would have probably dove into the mud.
Okay, so you are picking yourself up out of the filth.
Yes.
I'm technically not in cover, to be fair, because
You're
I
not
had to use my
actually in
action to
cover 'cause
shoot.
you were- Oh, that's
But
right.
I stopped near a tree so that cover is available.
Okay. So when we left off, Dmitry, you'd finished pedaling that trigger. You'd watched the one man burn in front of you, the other 2 on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then we pick up today. So everybody good with the zones, the distances, the scene?
Yes.
yeah, I'm in cover though.
You're in cover? Okay. So Osiris is in cover.
Justin's look of, are you?
Dubious. The word is dubious.
So you're not in cover. Got it.
Easy.
No, I am in cover. I'm hiding behind the shrapnel that was our ship.
I think you're also hiding underneath
okay.
a part of a
Moving on.
bark.
He has cover available, Brad. He did not actively take cover action.
That's what my notes actively said.
No, my action was to shoot that guy in the dick.
Then yeah, you're not in cover.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you're not in cover.
Well, I mean, if you're putting it on the table, I'm gonna try and take the bite.
Don't lie
Fair.
to me, because I'll go back and I'll find out when I go edit.
We're way past correction at that point.
Honestly, that's true. Okay, and then
Just have to put a disclaimer at
Dmitry
the
with a 5.
or at the bottom. By the way, Carl was a liar, but
hey, you know what? There's one thing that happens to liars in this game.
They get an EXP. Got it.
Yeah, sure.
I'm just kidding.
On
I'm just
that
kidding.
note, top of the round.
let's go.
An
I'm gonna be the
individual
first to
off-
die.
So an individual
You might be.
offsite.
You are.
Dmitry, you
Yeah.
had moved up. You had pedaled the flamer. You have this big burning pyre of flesh in front of you. You did not, unfortunately, see someone not too far from you, and they are going to take a shot at you.
Roll.
Yeah, this is not great.
They're taking a shot at who?
Oh, I
Me,
lied.
at
I
Dmitry.
apologize. The individual whose turn it is not going to take a shot. You hear off to your right, Dmitry, a growling voice. And actually, I believe you heard a hint of this voice at the end of last session. But you hear that voice again as it goes, "You will die." And with a sloshing, splashing of feet from your right comes a charging, hulking man. You recognize him. You've seen him before at the Mudgate over a month ago.
Oh,
His
yeah.
torso is open with leather straps crossing them, emblazoned with brass bloodied skulls. His cloak flying out behind him, and as he charges you, he pulls 2 whirring axes from his belt.
No.
He is dual-wielding chain axes as he charges directly at you, Dmitry.
Oh, I can't wait to kill this guy. This is great.
So, Dmitry,
You don't know who this is, Mordecai.
you don't remember
I know
who this is.
I know.
Which is even
Mordecai
better.
doesn't know. Alex knows.
The number of times as I went back and I was like looking through the season 1 edits, and the number of times I realized that I forgot that you forgot who this was as we talked about it in episode 19. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
So Mordecai, you don't know
It's
who
hard
this
to
is.
remember that I forgot.
It's hard to remember that I literally ripped your memories out. All right, so Dmitry,
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be one of our. It's going to be one of the rare times we actually see melee combat happening. So, as a reminder, because we don't get melee a lot, it's mostly shooting in this game
With a chain axe. Yikes.
with a chain axe. It's always a lovely, lovely thing. All right, so real quick, you're going to have to oppose the test. This is an opposed test. He is going to attack you with a melee weapon. You may oppose this with either your melee skill, or you may oppose this with a dodge of some kind. But that is going to be up to you as to what you want to do there. So,
All right.
he's going to make his attack in just a second. I just want to see if there's any other modifiers I need to remember. Now, that's what I needed to check. Okay, so Dmitry, you are currently wielding a flamer, which is your two-handed, you're pedaling. If you choose not to dodge, if you choose to use melee weapon skill to
Oh no, I'm
oppose-
dodging.
Okay, that's good,
what
because
I'm
melee would have
attempting.
been at disadvantage. So, all right. All right. So he's going to attack you first with his his one-handed right-handed weapon. Okay.
I'd like to interrupt this test.
Okay, tell me how.
I'm gonna look at him. Fuck God, and bring my flamer to bear, or start to anyway.
Okay.
Don't our fate let us intervene on initiative orders as well?
You could have chosen to use a fate to go before him, yes. However, he is already going. So you can't interject on his turn, per se. You could have interjected before his turn.
I think at the top of the round you can choose where to go in the order.
You
So
can.
he's rolling at disadvantage.
Oh, are you using... Is that...
I'm
did you
using distracting.
Okay.
You activated his trap card.
Well, that's okay, because the disadvantage roll is exactly what I rolled.
Oh.
All right. So make your dodge test, please.
All right. Well, that's not good.
Did we regain spent fate at all?
You did last session or 2 sessions ago, yes.
It was 2 sessions ago then, because I think I used it last session, maybe the session before.
That is a
I believe you
negative.
used a fate when the crack missile hit the cockpit. I think I'd have to go back and check, but I think you rolled poorly and used a fate.
It's okay. I know I don't have one right now. That's all.
You're
I'm
missing
asking.
one, yeah.
That's a -2.
Okay, Dmitry, I'm going to ask you one time, do you want to do anything to change your roll?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Would you like to, you can burn a fate?
Hang on. Yeah, that's what I'm.
I'm sorry, not burn a fate. You can spend a fate.
Right.
to
I
reroll.
gotta. Okay, that's 18.
Okay.
Over 27, under 27, whatever it is.
All right, so that's a +1. Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Sorry.
Just making sure I didn't miss anything there. All right, so you, with your +1 dodge, this individual comes racing off from your right side. His chain axe making a ugly, revving, whirring sound. Unfortunately, your +1 is not as good as his roll, with a +6. So I rolled really well with him. He comes racing up, the axe whirring, brings it up over his head with his right hand. He crashes it down. Now, with your +1 and his +6, that leaves a gap of +5. The attack is rending, and it is loud. So what will happen is...
I don't like that it's loud.
yeah, it's loud. So the axe is... and it comes whirring down. Dmitry, he is going to strike you in the... Well, it makes sense. It's an overhead attack. You are struck in the head. Do you have any armor?
I do.
Okay. You're going to reduce the wounds taken by your armor for this, but with the chain axe striking down, he is going to hit you for 12 wounds to the head.
All right.
In addition, the axe has the rend quality, which means that upon hit, it will, I believe, remove a portion of your armor permanently. When an attack with this weapon deals one or more wounds, the outermost armor on the hit location is reduced by the rend rating until repaired. So whatever your helmet was, it is reduced by 3 because the chain axe has a rend 3 rating.
Okay.
So chances are you just don't have a helmet left, to be honest.
I still do.
Oh, nice. How much armor was your helmet?
4.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Dude.
So
that sucker's just barely hanging on, though.
And this dude got a +6 with disadvantage on his roll, huh? That's
the disadvantaged roll was the exact same roll because it would have been the worst of the two.
We need to get this guy eaten by something bigger than him.
So, Dmitry, you take 12 wounds less your armor. So, what was the armor? The armor of the helmet is 4, so you take 8 wounds.
All right.
And your helmet drops to 1 armor from now on.
Yep.
As the chain axe, as it slaps into your helmet, you feel huge chunks of the helmet rip away by the whirring blades, a gash cutting across your forehead as he smacks in. That ends his turn. He's not going to follow up with his second attack at this time because he does not want disadvantage for striking two weapons. Yes, sir.
I have a question.
You may ask.
So you described what he's wearing a little bit.
Yes.
His armor, is it metal?
It is not. It is leather. Well, there are aspects of metal to it. It is leather strappings with brass skulls that seem to be bleeding from the eyes along his chest in an X form. His pants are leather with, again, kind of brass pleats overlapped, almost like lamellar armor on his quads. So
he's got brass plate armor on his quads.
Yes. His torso is considered unarmored. His straps will only confer 1 armor.
2 questions. Yep. Brass is magnetic, right?
No.
I don't believe it is. I don't believe so. I actually don't know that answer. But when two other men at a party say, no, I'm going to believe
copper,
them.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's not. Okay. Well, damn.
Good thing science works the same way here as it does there, right?
Right.
Go for it.
But yeah, so the gentleman is the one that you had seen previously, shirtless, huge muscles, crisscrossed with scars. Flesh is pale. Head is, at this point, it is bald with a little tiny top knot at the back.
You know what probably is metal? His weapon.
The chain axe. Yeah, I know, but that's...
Okay. That ends his turn.
See.
And he, like I said, he's not going to attack with his second chain axe because that would be at disadvantage, the best I can see. So, Roderick, you are up. This is occurring 1 zone away from you.
Okay. Don't like it. First. This is the only enemy now?
No, there are still 2 other individuals in front of Dmitry who are still on fire. But they have both been lit on fire by a flamer and are screaming and flailing as their flesh is melting off them. It just hasn't become their turn for the ablaze condition to kick in.
Okay, but no other combatants that are not currently ablaze or
you
wielding
don't
chain
see
axes.
any other combatants yet. No.
Okay, that's fun. I like that answer. No, I don't. But I am going to shoot this fucking guy.
Okay, so you're going to shoot into a melee combat.
God, what's the disadvantage on that?
I'm looking at that right now because I knew you were going to ask. Choose a type within range, blah, 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 blah. Succeed on the damage. I actually don't think that there is one, unlike in WFRP. So
yeah, I don't feel like I read one anywhere, but
I don't remember seeing one, and I just double-checked. I don't see it. So we're going to say that there's not a disadvantage. If we find that to be corrected, we'll correct it at a later time. But for now, carry on.
Okay, I am going to burst fire my pistols.
Okay. And Dmitry, how are you looking after 8 wounds, I should ask?
I look like ass.
Okay. How many wounds do you have left, just so I know?
3.
Oof. Okay. All right, I'm glad you had a helmet on. Shit, I thought you didn't. All right, so you were going to burst fire.
Yes.
So burn 1 ammo. Are you firing with both pistols? I forget, are you ambidextrous now?
I am ambidextrous, but I don't have gunslinger yet, so I can't fire with both unless I do disadvantage on it.
Okay.
Which I'm not going to. But
Okay.
I am going to fire with my left hand, just because it has more rounds left in its mag.
Okay.
Come on, Johnny.
Now, since you're ambidextrous, you don't get a negative, which is good.
And
And you said you're using burst fire?
Yeah, but it sucks. So, that is 80 over 53.
Okay.
Unless
So-
burst fire gives me something. Hang on.
Burst fire gives you +1 SL.
Yeah, so that is -2 in that case.
-2. So you pull up your left hand and you are so shocked by this guy having rushed out of the tree line.
Do we have any superiority right now?
You had 1 superiority. Actually, no, I take that back. You did have 2 superiority going into the combat
Okay.
because you had torched those guys. I will say that with this guy jumping out on the surprise and catching Dmitry the way he did, your superiority is reduced to 1. But you do still have a superiority. Yes.
Well, 1's not going to do me any good,
It's
but
not going to get you there. You're still going to be at a -1 then.
I'm not using it.
So you pull up your left hand, you pull the trigger, the las rounds bursting out, and they kiss into the water and mud around this guy's feet as he is in melee with Dmitry at this point. Your concern, the shock and the concern of hitting Dmitry outweighs the desire to shoot him, and you're perhaps a little too cautious. Would you like to move in any shape, way, or form? You can move into cover in your zone. There are still the blasted remains of like some stumps nearby.
No, I can't. I just use my action to shoot.
If you don't leave the zone you're in, your move can be to move into cover.
Oh. Sure. I'll do that.
So keep in mind that if you don't move out of your zone, moving into cover in your zone is a air quote free action because you are not
Okay.
leaving the zone. Okay.
I don't think I've ever just stayed in my zone before, so
This is a first. That's why I wanted to highlight that. All right, so
that's it.
Roderick, that's it for you. That would bring us to Mordecai. However,
Nope. It's Mordecai.
hang on. Mordecai, you have a 49 in your reflexes.
Sure do.
You are next.
See?
How dare you question me? So the very first guy that I shot.
Yes.
Now, the way I'm envisioning this, we are all in the same zone together, aside from Carl, who is over by the ship.
Crashed shuttle. Yep. You are in the same zone as Roderick. Actually, I had you a zone behind Roderick. Had you moved up with
That's
him?
fair. No, that's fair, because the way that I envisioned it, I came clockwise around the edge of the ship, so now...
Counterclockwise. You went from left to right. Counterclockwise.
Okay.
But yes, that's the same
Anyway.
vision I had of you being behind Roderick, providing fire. Osiris is off by the ship at this point as well.
The the people that just got set ablaze,
Yes.
they are one zone in front of me?
No. Ship would be to your left with Osiris. And that's diagonal left of you. It is the same zone in front of you as if you were moving into Roderick's zone. You are
Okay.
in what is considered zone 4. Roderick
Okay.
is in zone 3. The individuals ablaze are in zone 2 with Dmitry, along with this guy with a chain axe. And then there's another zone beyond that where the guy with the chain axe came running from.
How far away is the first guy that I shot?
The first guy that you shot whose head
The
you
first
blew
guy-
off, he would be in the
I
equivalent
blew
of...
his nose off.
Blew his nose off. He would be in the equivalent of zone 2. 2 zones ahead of you.
Okay, and the people that we were just setting on fire and just shot at,
Yep.
they are in
Same zone, same area.
same zone?
Pretty much seemed to be in the same spot. So when you blasted this guy down, Dmitry flanked, and as he did, he saw the guy that you shot, as well as a few others, and that's where he's
Can I
attacking.
get there if I run?
You can get there if you run, yes.
Now, running would use my action?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to run to that ditch.
Okay. So you pick yourself up and begin running through this muck, the slosh kind of splashing up around your boots, the rain pelting down on you, and you kind of slide into that space past the 2 people who are ablaze. You are in
Mhm.
that zone.
Okay. Now, again, I understand that I can't take cover,
You can't take cover.
but I would like to put myself in somewhat of an advantageous position. And just so you know what I'm doing, I'm gonna look at the scene real quick and see what I can see for my next turn.
Okay. You don't.
Where's that rocket launcher?
You can't take a perception check because you've already used your action,
That's fair.
so you can't roll
No
dice. But when you come running into this zone, sprinting past Dmitry, the chain axe rearing back in a spray of blood, you pass him, you pass the flaming bodies, you almost kind of like sideways skid like you're running in snow, and you try to stop because the muck is so slick. In doing so, you're not even going to have to roll. The individual whose nose you shot off is laying in the muck, the tail end of a rocket launcher, an anti-personnel rocket, a tread feather, whatever you want to call it, sticking out of the ground. And directly to his left is a small pile of a rucksack covered in muddy water. With one little flap half pulled back, you can see the tip of a rocket of some kind.
Okay. That's my turn.
Okay. All right. After you, Mordecai, and before you, Osiris, you hear a new voice ring out, one you've not heard before, and you hear it go, "Damn it, Garrick, you fucking idiot." And with a resounding clack, you hear the racking of a bolter.
What's your problem, Brad?
Sick of Tainted Hive already?
No,
What's your
fucking love it. Roderick.
New characters next week,
Scheduling
guys.
was
Tune
getting
in.
too steep.
Right.
Fucking burn it down.
Roderick, you have an individual who has decided to target you. They tracked your bolt rounds, and as you watch the mist alongside this character that you now know is named Garrick, the mist kind of parts. An individual comes walking out, thick plates of like blackened armor over his shoulders. It is not power armor. He is not an Astartes, but it is definitively some kind of a flak suit. And he is hauling a big ass bolter. His skin is sallow. His hair is long and dark. The eyes are almost like have like blackened veins peeling away from them. He smiles the most cruel smile with fangs for every tooth. And he just laughs.
He's cute. Am I in light cover or medium cover?
You were able to take cover, so you would be in the equivalent of light cover because it is a blasted stump.
Okay.
I can't wait to make a necklace out of his teeth.
So he is going to... Is he going to do this?
Is he shooting at me?
He is shooting at you, and he's going to use
I am
rapid fire.
using my reaction to dodge.
Okay, use your reaction to dodge, because you can see him, so you can do that. And he's only a zone away, so that is allowed. I will absolutely allow that. He is going to use rapid fire on the weapon. So, you roll that dodge roll and then hold tight.
Yep.
And I'm going to see... I need to remember what this perk is, because I've only ever used rapid fire twice.
Where are reactions in the book?
It's on 199. There's only like, it doesn't say much about them, but it says the most common thing that you can do with a reaction is dodge.
Yep.
You can only do one
And then I can,
every round.
Me as a psyker, I can deny the witch if I see something going on.
You have to be in the same zone as them, but yes.
Gotcha.
Okay, so not going to use the spread trait. We're just going to use rapid fire to give him advantage on the roll. All right.
I'm going to wait. If I give him disadvantage, I can't really anyway because I think that's a reaction. Hang on. Let me just check. Go ahead, roll. If I can distract him, I will. But if I can't, I won't.
I believe your distracting talent is a reaction, and if you're dodging, you would not be able to do that.
Yes, it is a reaction.
Okay. So the bolter clacks.
I have my dodge roll.
How'd it go?
21 under 56. So
Plus 3, nice.
So that would reduce his SLs by 3.
Okay. Do you want to use your superiority that you have not yet used?
Yes, I do. I'll bump that up.
All right, so that'll reduce his SLs by 4, which is a very good thing because he rolled a 13 under a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You hear the slide clack, the trigger pressed, the thump, 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 of 3 rounds firing out of this bolter, the supersonic shells spraying around you, Roderick. With the 4 SLs you take away, he still succeeds with 4 SLs.
What the fuck?
I apologize. With 3 SLs.
I was going to say, Jesus Christ.
His skill is good, but I misread my own roll there for a second. So, what happens here is you are struck by the bolt.
Yeah.
You will suffer.
Why must I suffer, Brad? Why?
You have to suffer.
Where is he hitting me? Is another question.
Good question. Because he's at advantage, that flips, so that becomes the right arm, which is not the worst place to get hit.
I have 2 armor on my arms.
Okay. So a bolt gun has the penetrating trait, which means I believe it just ignores armor equal to the penetrating rating. Yep. So bolt gun has penetrating 4, so your armor doesn't matter.
Okay, cool. Cool.
And because you are struck with a bolt gun, the damage of which I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm checking right now.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. It's not great.
Roderick's probably going down right now.
Bolter. Damage is 8 plus 3 SL will be 11 wounds to the right arm.
Oh, shit.
So I was already at 1 out of my 11 wounds, so that will put me at 12. So I am negative. So
You're
I'm
negative
at
1.
0.
Which means
That's
you're
a
going to
critical
suffer a
wound, right?
critical with an additional severity. So because this did hit you in the arm, we're just going to, the crit applies to your arm. I know that they normally say when you get a critical wound, roll the die. That doesn't make sense if you've been shot in the arm and that's what the damage did. So, nope, not in the tray. Doesn't count.
Yikes.
Roderick. This is as bad as it could be. I rolled a 10. I rolled a 10, which makes it an 11.
So just to clarify something.
Yep.
If I have used my fate but not burned it, I can't burn it because I used it, right?
Correct.
Cool.
Correct. This actually makes a lot of sense. So, Mordecai, Dmitry, Osiris, you watch as Roderick is shot. These bolt rounds pulverizing his arm. Roderick, your arm is gone from just above the wrist. You have what is called the cleft hand. Your hand is splayed apart, causing a major injury and severing fingers. You are bleeding. You immediately drop your weapon. I lied. I apologize. One above that is the arm gone. Your hand is just in ribbons. Like the fingers are half hanging off.
On my right.
On your
right hand.
On your right hand.
Cool.
You drop your gun. You drop into the acidic muck. And you are bleeding with a...
Good thing you're ambidextrous.
You are bleeding with a major bleed.
Silver linings.
So, Roderick, you have a major bleed.
Oh,
Now,
shit.
You have not taken damage from a bleed yet. So just so everyone in this group is aware, a bleed can only cause a critical wound 1 time. Then it's just considered bleeding. However, Roderick has not been dealt a critical wound from the bleed. So at the end of his next turn, he will automatically suffer another critical wound unless that bleed is stopped.
That'll put him at 2.
That'll put him at 2. How many critical wounds can you have, Roderick?
It's my toughness bonus worth, right?
I believe it's a mixture of your toughness and something else. Let's double check that really quick, because that is an important thing to know.
Ooh.
That is bad.
That is bad.
Welcome to the One Arm Club.
Yeah, I don't know. My toughness is 49, and it says
No,
I have
you are correct. So if
4
your untreated
wounds.
critical wounds exceed your toughness bonus, you
So
you
I
succumb
have
and
a
die.
3 toughness bonus.
Okay, so that's not good.
Nope.
That ends that gentleman's turn.
Not great.
Osiris, you are up. You've now watched Dmitry get hit with a chain axe. Roderick,
I
get
hope
hit
you
with
have a
bolter.
vortex of doom, bud.
So I'm gonna turn to that guy who shot at Justin or Roderick,
Okay.
and I'm going to attempt to use the Emperor's closed fist on him.
Okay, walk me through what this does, because you are a different psyker than our blessed quinoa. So what does the
I have
Emperor's
to make
fist do?
a difficult -20 manifest test to see if this works.
Okay.
I'm gonna make that real quick.
All right.
That is a 9.
Nice.
That is a 9 under. What is manifest?
Manifest
Psychic
is...
mastery, I think.
It's going to be some kind of your psychic mastery power. So
9 under 43.
So that 43 is without the
My
negative.
telekinesis.
Yeah. Okay. And your telekinesis is like 63, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So that's a 4
And then
success.
so the target, since that happens,
Yeah.
you get, all right, none of that now. And the target suffers damage equal to 3 plus willpower bonus plus success levels of my manifest test, and it must make a hard, difficult athletics might test opposing my manifest test.
Athletics might test. Okay.
Opposing my manifest.
All right. First things first. Let's talk about wounds. How many wounds do you deal?
What do you mean?
So the wounds dealt, you said were
Damage equals 3 plus my willpower bonus plus my success levels.
right.
Yeah,
so
but
what is that? I don't know what that is off the top of my head, so I need you
What
to
was
tell me
your
how much
success
damage you're dealing.
Willpower is a 48.
Okay. So it's 4.
So that's 4.
Yep.
And then, so it's worth to 7. And then success levels was also 4.
Okay. So 11.
Nice.
All right. I'm going to mark his wound down. Okay. And then he needs to make a difficult -20 athletics
Might.
might test. He doesn't have might, so that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, but his athletics is damn good. Difficult.
Not for long.
All right. Difficult -10 might
And versus
test.
my manifest test, which is a +4.
Okay. So I need to be a
Actually,
plus
+5 because I have superiority.
I just want to point out that this is the second ambidextrous
12
character that Brad has neutered before I actually got to
I'm sorry.
dual wield.
I'm sorry.
Hey, we live in a world of augmetics, though.
We just
You'll be
had
all right.
we just had 1 superiority, right?
You have 1 superiority right now. Yes.
All right. So then
actually,
does that apply to the damage as well? Because that would make it a 12.
it will, but hang on. So Roderick dropped.
Actually, if we gouge out Roderick's eyes, him and Osiris can be twins now.
All right. With Roderick dropping, there is no superiority.
Drop. I just got a critical wound.
That's true. You're not dead. Okay. So then, yes, the superiority counts. So
We're
that
trying to
makes
fuck
it.
us out of. Fuck you, Brad.
I still got one good hand.
All right. So on that note,
I'm
you're
only
gonna-
screaming.
You're going to blast him with that. He has to make a -10 test against your
Negative
5.
20.
Difficult's only -10.
It says right here on
You
the,
said
in the
hard.
Hard, -20.
I'm sorry. I thought you said difficult. Okay. -20 test with athletics.
I mean, they're synonyms, but no.
Hard.
Not in this game.
hard
they're not.
with a hard H. They're not synonyms in this game. There are 2 different levels of difficulty, but we got it. -20 test, athletics against your +5 success levels. That is a beautiful time to roll a 99 failure.
Okay, so since he failed, he's now
fails.
restrained until the power ends.
Oh,
And at the end of his turn, he makes another hard athletics check to opposing that same manifest,
okay,
because this is sustained.
okay.
So I'm holding him in place right now,
Yep.
but I'm not using my real hand. I'm using the lobbed off arm
Yeah.
where my hand would be. And I'm holding up my nub at this guy, and I'm crushing his bones and flesh and holding him in place.
Darth
Okay.
Vadering him.
So,
Basically, yes.
quick check. What does that
Oh,
put your
he's
warp charges
Osiris.
to?
That puts me up to 7.
Osiris, you're at 7, and your max is 10?
8.
8, okay.
I'm about to bust.
Excuse me. All right, so 7 out of 8 charges. You grasp him. You deal 12 wounds of damage. You watch as he muscles, veins bulge in anger, and he is restrained. So being restrained, he cannot move normally. He cannot take move actions, but he can still shoot his gun. So you watch Osiris as his head,
How is he making another action?
it's just a flare. He turns to look at you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Osiris,
Yeah.
that brings us to the end of your turn.
Yeah, I'm basically just crushing this dude's bones.
Dimitri, before you
Basically,
are
you
the
know,
2
no big deal.
I'm going to call them in air quotes traitor militarum that you don't know if they actually are militarum. They're in militarum uniforms. The 2
Sure.
flaming kebabs, let's call them that, in front of you.
Yeah.
You watch as their turn comes and they both go, ah, and just fall into the muck dead. The ablaze condition was enough. They only each survived the flamer attack with like 3 wounds. The ablaze condition did it. So Dimitri, you have eradicated the 2 in front of you. The individual with the chainsword is directly to your right, and past him about 8 feet away is the guy with the bolter who was shooting at Roderick, also in your zone. What would you like to do?
All right. You guys are all shooting into this mess.
Real quick, bud. Just as a reminder, I do have a slab of rock floating above me, keeping the acid rain off of me. Still, I'm still concentrating on that.
Bark.
Semi decayed bark, I believe it was. You looked for a rock, but you found bark.
Semi decayed
instead.
bark. You're
Yes.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. Just wanted to make that known, so you're not thinking I'm
It is a nice
metagaming.
piece of flair, though.
It is a nice piece of flair. Just this fucking. I just imagine now you're like sitting there with your nub pointed out, and this guy's like writhing in pain as this piece of bark just hovers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I would like to throw this smoke grenade at my feet.
Okay.
That's what I'd like to do.
All right.
Start. So,
Smart.
heavily obscured.
Heavily obscured.
Where do I even have notes for this damn thing?
A smoke grenade should create heavy obscurement, which is nice.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to do that, and then what's in between? Okay, so I've got Chain Axe Dude, myself.
Chain Axe Dude yourself.
What's
Directly
beyond that?
Directly behind Chain Axe Dude, about 8 feet away, is Bolter Dude. Behind you, to your right, in the preceding zone, probably about 10, 15 feet away, is Roderick bleeding out. Mordecai beyond him. Now, if you're looking beyond who came for you, you don't see what is in that direction because of the rain, but you do see the same twisted stumps of trees. You guys are really in a shitty location for a combat. It is a marshy, boggy, 2 inches of water to 6 inches of water where it divots. There's no good cover, minus the actual now ruined shuttle.
Okay. I am going to make my way towards Roderick.
Okay. Are you dropping the smoke bomb first?
Yes.
Okay, so is your action then is to use the smoke bomb?
That's my action, yeah.
Okay, got it. And then you're going to move into Roderick's zone.
Mhm.
Moving out of the zone that you are in combat with, I don't believe has anything in this. I think you can just do that. So we're going to say you're good. And you make your way to Roderick.
Okay. And
Right.
I'm going to take cover as a free action.
Okay, you take cover as a free action. I'm just double checking movement of leaving a zone with melee just to make sure I don't moving in combat, blah, 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 blah. So, Dmitry, this is what I wanted to check. You can't do that. If you, I'm gonna let you roll everything back really quick before you drop the smoke bomb. Because you are in melee, it is like WFRP. You are considered engaged. The only way to walk away without them attacking you is to disengage, or you can walk away without disengaging, and they'll take a swing at you with their axe.
All right. And disengage works how?
So disengage is an action you can take. I believe actions disengage. When you take a disengage action, you carefully back away, keeping your defenses up. You just move out of the zone and you're not engaged. So it's not like WFRP. There is no roll. You're not rolling to get out. You use your action to basically ward him off and step away.
Okay, I guess I'll do that instead of using the grenade to try and do that. That
So
works.
you ward him off and then step back to Roderick again.
Yeah.
Understood. All right, that will bring us to the top of the round. The individual with the axe is first. You now know his name to be Garrick. Garrick looks to the individual who is locked in place and just goes, "Well, brother, do we give blood for the blood god?" And he revs both axes. Dmitry, having hit you,
He could see that through that smoke bomb that he's in?
there's no smoke bomb because he had to
I had to
disengage.
retcon that.
Oh, okay.
He is not actually going to look to you, Dmitry. He sees that his ally is restrained. He sees Osiris with the hovering item above his head and his arm extended, and he goes, revs both axes and comes running. Now, Osiris, you are 2 zones away from him because you were back at the shuttle. So he's using his action.
Is the terrain difficult for him at all because it's sloshy bullshit?
It's not difficult for you nor him, but he comes racing at you, and because you are 2 zones away, he uses his entire action to charge. So he will run into your zone with both axes revving. The axes sound alone is extremely loud. Just that is his turn, which brings us to Roderick.
That's not great.
It's not great. You get a turn before anything else.
I get a turn before any of the bleed shit happens or anything like that?
Bleeds happen at the end of your turn, ignoring armor.
So in the zone adjacent to me, there is now Axe Dude revving and Bolter Dude being held in place, looking like he's getting scrunched up like a tuna can, right?
Zone adjacent is guy with a bolter being held in place like a tuna can. Zone adjacent left is Shuttle, Osiris, Dual Chain Axe. Zone adjacent behind is Mordecai. You, Roderick, you and Dmitry create the center spoke of this wheel of similarity. Every zone looks the same. It is all marshy, stumpy, twisted, broken trees.
And there's the dude who has the bolt gun. Is he wearing a bunch of armor?
He is wearing a lot of armor, black.
Okay.
Quick glance tells you that while it's not Astartes armor, it is very... You've seen it, Roderick, because being novice Nobilite, and not just being a Nobilite, also being Novice Imperialis, you recognize this as light power armor, which is rare and expensive.
Okay. Seeing as how he is restrained, this seems like an excellent time for me to throw a fucking crack grenade at that douchebag. I am writhing, just like holding my hand, looking at it, and I see Dmitry coming toward me. I'm like, fucking hell!
Also, correction, I apologize. As you grab the hand, as you look at your hand and yell, fucking hell, Mordecai is not behind you. Mordecai is actually in front of you, next to the rocket launcher. I forgot about that. My apologies.
You mean Dmitry?
No, Mordecai. Dmitry is standing right next to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Mordecai, I originally told you Mordecai was a zone behind you. Mordecai is actually a zone in front of you, standing at the rocket launcher.
But not in the same zone as dude with the bolter.
Differentiated by 10 feet.
Okay, cool. Still chugging it.
Okay. Crack grenade goes out.
I'm pulling pin with my teeth.
Deletus.
All right, make that attack roll with the crack grenade. And he can't move, so he can't try to dodge, because he is restrained.
Correct. Please, Dice Gods, you took my hand away.
Feast.
Let me have this.
Eat this nade.
All right. That is a 39 under 43.
All right. So you don't have disadvantage because you are ambidextrous, so your left hand is fine.
Yes.
You do succeed on the test.
What does this fucking thing do is the question next. So, let's see. I see it has damage of 12.
Yep.
It is thrown ordnance. It is loud. Penetrating 4.
Yep.
Has spread, thrown medium, and unstable. Let's see what spread and unstable do. We all know what penetrating does. Spread.
Unstable's something if you fail.
Okay, I won't worry about that then. All creatures within immediate range of the target other than the attacker must make a challenging +0 reflex dodge, which he can't because he's restrained.
Yep.
Or suffer half damage from the attack if weapon is already in spread trait. We gain another name, blah, blah. Creatures with...
So, essentially...
Okay, so it hits everything around him.
It would hit the entire zone, so the Mordecai not being there is good. The penetrating means it will break past 4 of his armor. Now, Osiris, when you... So you're off camera for a second. When you come back, I need to know if you're...
I'm right here.
Oh, perfect. Was
just
your...
chewing on stuff.
Just eating, got it. Was your warp power... Did it ignore armor? The Emperor's Fist?
It doesn't have anything to do with armor. It's flesh and bone.
Understood. It's still an attack roll, so that's why I'm
It's checking. A manifest. It's
okay.
Magic.
All right.
I don't know.
We're gonna say no then, because you're squeezing with psychic power. We'll correct that at a later time.
Let's see. It just says range, medium, target, 1 creature, duration sustained. It doesn't. Armor has nothing to do with it. There's nothing that even says armor in it.
Well, it would. It would say armor if it surpassed armor, because there are psychic powers that actually are a detriment to armor. So what we'll say is that the armor still impacts for now. I'll go look for that in a minute. So that would be the wounds was 12 less armor. And so, Roderick, your grenade goes out. It lands at his feet. It explodes in a small but vicious, ignoring 4 of his armor, and deals, you said 12?
That's the base damage. I would have had 1 success level. Can I add my superiority to this? Do we still have superiority?
You have 1 superiority currently. You can choose
I'll add
to use
that, so it'll be 2 superiority, so 14
14?
damage.
Okay, 14 with armor piercing 4. That's very well done. So he gets hit with this crack grenade, and you watch as... Does the crack grenade have rend? No.
No.
You watch as the grenade explodes, chunks of this power armor like getting peppered and like filled with holes and cuts. He is still standing, but he is bleeding from like multiple cuts on his head.
He's only standing because he's too restrained to move and fall on the ground.
Hope so.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Roderick, is that your entire turn? I guess you can't really... You're on the ground, so you can't really move and attack.
I'm not on the ground. I'm just hit.
I believe if you exceed your wound total, you go...
Oh, do I automatically go prone?
I think you drop prone. Yep, on your turn, you may move or take an action, but not both, because your wounds are just beating the crap out of you. You're not prone, per se. You can only do one thing.
Right. That's fair.
Okay.
As part of the throw, I'm just going to spit blood in his general direction. Fuck off!
Okay.
And then I will continue to cry loudly about my hand.
Okay. So while you should have last turn, I'm not going to make you do it because this is too badass. While you should have last turn made a fortitude pain test to avoid falling unconscious, your grenade goes off. The bleed happens. So you suffer an additional 3 wounds, which that's just going to add 3 to your severity roll because you're already wounded. So first things first, where does your crit occur? The body. So at this point, the damage is becoming spread. Okay, that's a very generously low roll, so that's good. So you suffer...
Isn't low bad in this game?
No, actually, low is better when it comes to criticals.
Oh, okay.
So as you're bleeding out, you throw the grenade, and what I want you to do quick before I narratively describe this is make a challenging +0 fortitude pain test for me quick.
If it's going to save your life, use a fate.
I don't have any fate, dude.
Otherwise, you'd still have a hand.
Otherwise, I'd still have a hand.
Zoidberg looking at
I
us.
have a...
It's not so bad.
I have an asterisk next to my fortitude, so hang on. What's that from?
People tend to gripe about losing a hand, but you just kind of have to make it work.
You, Carl.
So many things in this game. What is
Got a
giving me
collection of hands under my desk.
fortitude? Is it for my armor, maybe?
Had a hungry.
Look at the
Only hands
augmented
that can satisfy.
possibilities.
Right?
I wanted some hands.
I wanted some hands. I was hungry.
Oh, that's probably from my filtration plugs, so it's not going to matter.
Oh, yeah, because that would give you a fortitude boost on those tests.
Who did that?
So challenging +0 pain test.
Ooh, that's a 10.
Okay.
Under 32.
Okay, you are not unconscious. So as you throw the grenade, though, the bleed, you almost black out for a half a second. And as you kind of fall to the ground and catch yourself, but as you do, you realize that you fell onto one of the stumps. You suffer a cracked rib. You now have a broken bone minor injury to your torso.
I'm sure he's not worried about that. He's more worried about the missing hand. But that hurts a little more.
Yeah.
Yep. Guaranteed.
Roderick's worst injury here is his ego.
True. It hurts not being able to brag.
Okay. Roderick, that brings us to the end of your turn.
Still
You got your hand blown off and threw a grenade at him. It's pretty cool.
Mordecai,
Yeah.
you're next.
Yeah, so I am frantically reaching for the crack missile and loading that thing in there. Now, Brad, I have tried to look and figure this out
Okay.
There is no roll to load this.
There's not.
There's no roll to load it. Is it a free action to load it?
So what I'm going to say is there's not a roll to load. Reloading ammunition is just an action in and of itself. Now, what matters here is the ammunition of the missile launcher. But before we even get there, you shot the individual who had shot the missile. So let me take a peek really quick. I don't know the ammo of the missile launcher off the top of my head. I had it up last time, and I don't right now. I'm going to guess it's probably one.
I tried to look to help you, and
that's okay.
I'm not great at
helping.
Finding
you just go to the armory.
Yeah,
you just go to the armory. You go to the grenades and explosives, and you look at a.
That's where I am.
Is it the portable missile launcher?
It's a missile launcher. Yep. So
I found crack missile, but I don't see the missile launcher.
That's not the actual launcher. So we got to go here. Ranged weapons.
Under dingus.
Yeah, it's under its
portable missile launcher. Yeah. It carries one magazine, so one ammo. So you will have to load it before you can fire it, and loading is an action.
So, question then.
Yes.
Grabbing both of them is not an action.
Not going to charge you an action for that. Absolutely not.
I'm going to grab both of them.
Okay.
And you tell... No, I can't do that. Okay. I'm going to grab both of them.
Okay.
I'm going to grab the bag full of the stuff and the launcher.
Okay.
And I'm going to run another zone away.
Which way?
Away from
the
these
fight?
guys.
Okay.
Away from the fight.
So you're going to run one further zone away.
I'm going to run one further zone away. And then I'm going to take an action to load it.
All right. So you take...
I'm getting 2 zones away from things, Carl, because I don't want to chain axe to the face while I'm trying to mess with this thing.
Shit is weak.
All right. So
it
you...
didn't look good.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't look great.
It doesn't look great.
I don't have eyes to see it.
You pick up the rocket launcher. It has a range of heavy, loud, two-handed, range of extreme.
It's just a tactical repositioning.
You grab the bag. You grab the rocket launcher and pull it out of the muck, and you run one zone away. And as you set down in the shadow of a tree and you flip open the bag, you see that there is one crack missile and one frag missile remaining. As you grasp that, which one do you want to load?
So I think this guy's already bleeding. Like, if I shoot him, I don't know that I need to waste the crack missile, considering it does more damage.
It does more damage. It is also armor piercing, and you don't know how much armor he has. He's in light power armor, which is.
I'm gonna go with the crack. I'm gonna hit him as hard as I can.
So you slam the crack missile home.
Does it moan?
You heft the launcher, and a small little mouth on the launcher goes, "Can I get a hi yeah?"
I give it a hi yeah for sure.
And what will happen is to be found out next time on the Tainted Hive.
You gain corruption.
You're right.
You did just pick up a weapon used by somebody attacking you, and you don't know what it means. But we will.
What does this mean? What does this mean?
We will pick up the combat next time at the NPC's unnamed NPC who is currently restrained's turn.
I'll go roll another character really quick.
God, I hope not. I was like sitting here watching this unfold. I'm like, oh, good God.
Don't worry, the next one will be just as ridiculous. Be fine.
Thank you so much for listening and joining us. This is on video now, so thank you so much for watching The Tainted Hive Season 2, Children of Rokarth. Yeah, you'd think this many episodes in, I would remember that. But hey, as always, we appreciate you. If you like what you see, please consider heading over to deadsonsco.com. Please consider following us over on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, obviously, Patreon. The best thing you can do to help us if you like what we do is share our content, get people to come watch it and hang out with us as well. And last but not least, again, thank you to the gentlemen over at Primetime Magic.
Primetime Magic!
Whose deals are more explosive than the bolt rounds that hit Roderick?
No, they're not. That fucking shit hurt.
Yeah, their deals are... I don't actually know. But regardless, they're a great group of guys. They're a great company. They are showing us some love, so go show them some love. And everyone, cross your fingers that our dear Roderick Wrangler survives to see the day. Now, before we depart, I owed you a promise of experience, but you didn't finish the combat.
Bruh.
Motherfucker.
All I have to say is,
But
dear
who are the
friends,
children of Rokarth?
dear friends in the audience, please post memes of Save Roderick like Save Ferris.
Save Roderick. Hashtag Save Roderick. All right, we will see you next time on the Tainted Hive Season 2 Children of Rokarth, and we will see then if Roderick survives to earn the experience he so greatly deserves at this point.
And tune
Still
in to
got
watch
my
us
strong
get snubbed
hand.
on experience again.
Yeah, tune in to watch us knock it. Eric, help us. Brad's repressing us.
A man repressed!